never seen a case where a young wife dies and 5 months later, a youngish husband dies, basically from the same underlying factors.
It started like a whisper, the kind that spreads quietly at first. Then suddenly, it's everywhere. A story that refuses to stay buried. A name that keeps coming back no matter how much time passes. Brittany Murphy. Her passing in 2009 shocked the world. Officially, it was ruled as pneumonia, anemia, and a mix of medications. A tragic, heartbreaking end to a bright life. But what if that's not the full story? What if there were pieces missing? Details that never made it into the official reports? Because now, years later, a new wave of speculation is shaking everything we thought we knew. And at the center of it all are two powerful names, Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, along with one of the most controversial figures in entertainment, Sean Diddy Combs. But here's the twist. This isn't a confirmed truth. These are claims, whispers, and theories that people are now connecting in ways that feel almost impossible to ignore.
Eventually, I got to the point where she had told her mother, Sharon, "Mommy, I'm dying, I'm going to die."
To me, that is alarming that a mother would ignore those requests for help, those cries for help from her own daughter.
And what nobody expected was Mila Kunis being pulled into the center of it all. Because according to growing online speculation, she may know more than she ever revealed. To understand why people are even talking about this, you have to go back to the beginning. Back when Brittany Murphy was still rising. She wasn't just another Hollywood actress. She had something different. A softness, a vulnerability, and a kind of energy that made people feel connected to her. From films like Clueless to darker emotional roles, she proved again and again that she wasn't just talented, she was real. But behind that smile, things weren't always perfect. Hollywood can be a difficult place, especially for someone who doesn't play by the rules. Brittany was known for being kind, but also sensitive. And as her career moved forward, things started to shift. Roles became less frequent, rumors about her health began to surface, and people started noticing that she wasn't the same. Then came her marriage to Simon Monjack. That relationship raised a lot of questions. Some described it as...
Remember when Brittany Murphy's dad said this in an interview?
Do you suspect somebody responsible for poisoning her? And who?
No, I don't. I don't suspect anyone. Actually, yeah, I do really, but I rather not speak about that. The question is, the fact is that she was poisoned, and she...
Now, we can all agree that the way Brittany Murphy passed away was very suspicious and weird. And the fact that her husband, Simon Monjack, passed away only 6 months later of the same thing, pneumonia. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but Brittany Murphy dated Ashton Kutcher for a little bit, and now these photos of them with Diddy and Kim Porter are going viral. And if you're not connecting the dots yet, honey, I need you to stick around a little longer for me, because Kim Porter passed away in 2018 of, guess what? Pneumonia. These two have been besties for quite some time now, so I just want to know, do they know what happened to their exes? Was it really pneumonia or was it something else? Because now I'm also finding out that they had the same coroner for all three, Simon Monjack, Brittany Murphy, and Kim Porter. His name is Edward Winter, and he passed away last year of, I'm not going to say pneumonia, it's actually natural causes. Now, Ed handled all the high-profile cases in Los Angeles. We're talking about Paul Walker, Whitney Houston, and Michael Jackson, which was another suspicion.
Before her marriage, Brittany had a relationship with Ashton Kutcher. At the time, they were one of Hollywood's most talked-about couples. Their chemistry was undeniable, but like many celebrity relationships, it ended. Still, their connection didn't just disappear. Over the years, people began revisiting Ashton's past interactions with Brittany, looking for clues, looking for anything that might explain what happened later.
Do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
Our heart goes out to every single person who's ever been a victim.
And then there's Diddy. At first, his name doesn't seem connected. Different circles, different industries. But Hollywood isn't as separated as it looks. behind the scenes, powerful people often cross paths in ways the public never sees. Some online theories suggest that Brittany may have encountered individuals tied to larger, more influential networks within the industry. Again, these are not proven facts, but they've become part of the conversation. And now, Mila Kunis has been pulled into it, because what nobody expected was her silence becoming part of the mystery. Mila has always been known as private, calm, grounded, someone who stays away from drama. But that's exactly why people are paying attention now. There are claims, unverified but widely discussed, that Mila may have had concerns about Ashton's past long before any of these rumors resurfaced, that she may have questioned certain connections, certain friendships. And when old stories started trending again, people began asking one question: what does Mila know? The speculation doesn't stop there. Some believe Brittany was working on something before her passing, a project, a tell-all, something that could have exposed uncomfortable truths about Hollywood. There's no solid proof of this, but the idea alone has fueled countless discussions, because if it were true, it would change everything.
Party stories, they're our favorite genre of anecdote, if you have one, yeah.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them.
Well, we still have some time to go, I can blow it here.
Okay. Feel free. Diddy party stories, man. That was like some weird memory lane.
Then came the resurfacing of other controversies involving Ashton and Mila. Their public support for former co-star Danny Masterson brought heavy backlash. Fans started looking at them differently, questioning their judgment, their choices. And suddenly, people weren't just looking at the present, they were looking at the past, connecting dots that may or may not even be connected. But that's how these stories grow. One detail leads to another, one rumor turns into a theory, and before you know it, the narrative becomes bigger than the facts. Still, the emotional weight of Brittany's story keeps pulling people back in. Because at the center of all this noise is a woman who lost her life far too soon. And whether these claims are true or not, the feeling remains the same. Something about her story still doesn't sit right. It's not just about conspiracy, it's about unanswered questions, about a life that seemed to unravel in ways no one fully understands. For her fans, it's personal. They remember her smile, her voice, the way she made people feel seen. And they can't help but wonder what really happened behind those closed doors. The emotional impact goes deeper than headlines. Brittany's passing didn't just end a career, it left a gap in her family, in her friendships, in Hollywood itself. People who knew her described her as warm, generous, and deeply human. And that's what makes all of this so heavy. Because when theories start involving powerful names, it creates a sense of imbalance, like the truth, whatever it is, might never fully come out. Mila Kunis, whether involved or not, is now part of that conversation, fairly or unfairly. And that kind of spotlight can change everything. It affects reputations, relationships, even how people see themselves. And for Ashton, the scrutiny has only grown stronger over time. Because once people start questioning your past, they don't stop easily. But here's the reality. There is no confirmed evidence proving these extreme claims, no official case linking these individuals to Brittany's death. Only speculation, only theories, only questions. And yet, those questions refuse to go away, because sometimes it's not about what's proven, it's about what people feel hasn't been fully explained. As this story continues to circulate, one thing becomes clear. Brittany Murphy's legacy is still alive, not just through her work, but through the mystery that surrounds her final days. And maybe that's why people keep coming back to it, looking for answers, looking for closure, looking for something that finally makes sense. But what nobody expected is that after all these years, the story would feel more alive than ever. So now the question turns to you. Do you think this is just another internet theory that went too far? Or do you believe there are still hidden truths waiting to be uncovered? Because one thing is certain, this story isn't over. And just when it feels like the story has reached its end, something pulls it right back into the spotlight again. Because the deeper people look into the life of Brittany Murphy, the more layers they believe they uncover. Old interviews start getting replayed. Past relationships are re-examined. Even the smallest details, things that once seemed unimportant, are now being treated like missing puzzle pieces. But here's the part that really keeps this story alive. It's the idea that Brittany may have been trying to say something before everything went silent. Some fans point to moments in her later interviews where she seemed different, a little more withdrawn, a little more careful with her words. It's subtle, but when people look back now, they read into every pause, every expression. And then there's the environment she was in. Hollywood is known for its glamour on the outside, but behind the scenes, it can be something else entirely. Pressure, expectations, powerful connections. It's a world where not everything is as it seems. That's where names like Sean Diddy Combs continue to come up in conversations, not because of confirmed involvement, but because of the larger narrative people have built around influence and control in the industry. And when you combine that with Ashton Kutcher's past connection to Brittany, the speculation starts to feel, at least to some, harder to ignore. But what really shifted the conversation was the attention turning toward Mila Kunis, because Mila wasn't part of Brittany's story back then, not directly. She came into Ashton's life later, built a family, created an image of stability and normalcy in a world that rarely offers it. And that's exactly why her name being linked to this narrative feels so unexpected. Some online discussions suggest that being close to someone means you might see things others don't, that you might hear conversations, notice patterns, pick up on energy that outsiders would never understand. Again, these are assumptions, not facts, but in stories like this, assumptions can take on a life of their own. And suddenly, silence becomes suspicious, privacy becomes a question mark, and distance becomes something people try to interpret. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Not every mystery has a hidden villain. Not every tragedy is part of a larger plan. Sometimes real life is messy, complicated, and painful in ways that don't leave behind clear answers. Still, that doesn't stop people from searching. Because Brittany's story feels unfinished. There's a sense that something about her final chapter doesn't match the beginning of her journey. And when that happens, people start looking for reasons, even if those reasons lead them into uncertain territory. Meanwhile, the people being talked about, they continue living their lives under a different kind of spotlight. For Ashton, it means that no matter how much time passes, his past connections will always be revisited. For Mila, it means being pulled into conversations she never asked to be part of. And for Diddy, it adds another layer to a public image that has already been surrounded by controversy for years.
But beyond all the theories, beyond all the names, there's something deeper here. It's about how we process loss, how we deal with stories that don't feel complete, how we try to make sense of something that hurts. Because when someone like Brittany Murphy leaves the world so suddenly, people don't just move on. They hold on to the memories, to the questions, to the feeling that there must be more. And maybe that's why this story refuses to fade away. Not because of what we know, but because of what we don't. So as the conversation continues to grow, As more people discover this story for the first time, one thing becomes clear. The truth, whatever it may be, is still out there somewhere, between fact and speculation. And until something definitive comes forward, the mystery will keep evolving. The theories will keep spreading. And Brittany Murphy's name will continue to echo through Hollywood. Not just as a star who once shined brightly, but as a story that still hasn't found its final chapter. So now, it comes down to you. When you look at everything, the rumors, the connections, the unanswered questions, what do you really believe? Is this a case of a tragic loss that people simply can't let go of? Or is there something deeper beneath the surface? Something that hasn't been fully revealed yet? Because one thing is certain. Some stories don't end when we think they do. They wait. For the right moment to be told again. As we close this story, one thing still lingers. The mystery around Brittany Murphy refuses to fade. Whether you believe the official version or feel there's more beneath the surface, the questions remain. And sometimes, unanswered questions speak the loudest. What do you think really happened? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your opinion. If this video made you think, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more deep stories like this. Because some truths aren't gone. They're just waiting to be discovered.